Top sports where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. Water bringing fire, cowboy, tie riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And it's truly eyebrows running the show. It's High Top Sports, baby. Let's get it, let's go.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy best day of the week. It's Wednesday. Of course, we'll be live later on tonight at 8:35 with the boys Hollywood and David Swolder quiz. But this morning, we got the prop here joining us. We'll talk about, obviously, the big thing that's hit college football as of yesterday, the new playoff schedule that will be enforced next season. And then the last airbender, Corey Bender, will be joining us here about halfway through the hour to discuss this recruiting, how the boys are doing on the trail, what's happening, how they're attacking it. It feels we have this aura that's happening right now that it feels like we're everywhere, like we talked about with Keith Niebuhr the other day. So we'll pick his brain a little bit. If you guys have any questions, drop it down in the comment section below. But good to see you. Happy to have you waking up with us on this beautiful morning. And Cody the Prof joins us here today. Good to see you, big guy. Good to see you.
Juiced up, ready to go. Juice up.
We got a few debacles, though, we got to get to the chat before we can dive into some things, right?
Can we first sidebar? Is FSU going to have a football team next year?
What happened?
They're going into bankruptcy.
Oh, I saw that.
They ain't got no money.
Yeah,
and they ain't even been good.
I saw that. You know,
they did just renovate the stadium.
They'll be fine. Company, somebody will bail them out. That's just companies, bro. Everybody operates in the red. That's just the world we live in,
Scary.
I mean, the country operates in red. So, if you're not borrowing, what are you doing? We got two debacles here. We've got a punishment we have to establish, and Cody is in full blown just wine fest right now about where we're gonna run this 40-yard dash. So we'll do the dash thing first, and everyone's thoughts on it. I was just gonna where we did the tailgate last year, measure out 40 yards, and we just send that thing in the parking lot. But Cody's like, I need cleats. I need turf. I don't know. I get it. The guy wants to get under five seconds, so he needs every, I wouldn't say advantage. I would say, but a healthy running space, right? Because I wouldn't call that an advantage. What do you guys think? Is it that big of a deal? Do we need to? If that's the case, I don't know if we'll be able to do it on Saturday. Is my thing. We may have to do it Friday somewhere else, and I'll have to just record it, and we do its own little thing, which is fine.
There's an open track just right down the road on University Ave.
We're not walking half a mile on Saturday when we're supposed to be tailgating and playing. And I'm not gonna pick everybody up, down there for you to run for 6 seconds and then walk back.
5 seconds. Number one.
Yeah.
And number two, I'll do it on concrete, but ChatGPT says I get a 0.25 second buffer.
Gator Jeremy is about as good as you making recommendations. The indoor facility. Yeah, Cody wanted to do it in the swamp. Yeah, guys. Yeah. Cody, can we do it on the practice field? Yeah, dude. They're gonna let us go. Let our goofy asses walk out into the indoor facility and start doing 40-yard dashes. That'll go over well.
I think we should be halftime performance.
That I could probably see. I don't see how we can get that thing figured out. Could you imagine? I bet they're not selling tickets, but it would crush.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a win-win for them. Number one,
I wanted people to watch, so that's why I was trying to do it as easy as possible and have it on Friday. Or Saturday, excuse me, at the tailgate. Yeah. But Cody's been in complete shambles. So leave us thoughts down in the comments, your ideas, and we'll weigh it out. We got time.
When you're putting as much work into this thing, I want it to be good. Like, I don't want it to be wishy-washy doing sprints in a gravel parking lot, okay? Like, I'm building this body like a sprinter. I've ChatGPT'd it. I've looked up training methods. I was looking up timers.
Usain Bolt will do it. He would do it in the parking
Well, yeah, he's the world's fastest man. I'm 35, got a wobbly chassis here, couple bad knees, and a couple concussions. Like, I need all the help I can get.
And the other thing, we have to hand out a punishment to Bubba here. His stepmom, I guess they got into it yesterday, and he told her to go touch some grass. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing with him. All right. told her to go touch the grass. So we were wondering what you guys should think should be the punishment for him telling her to touch the grass. He doesn't even know what it means. He doesn't even know what it means. Understand the concept of it. I was blessed to be able to have Cody call in when Cody was yelling at him for saying that. Yeah. Impressive stuff.
Preteen shenanigans, bro. He'd just be ripping off at the mouth. I'm just like, where are you getting this? He's like, kids at school say it all the time to each other. I'm like, yeah, that's your mother.
That's what I said, Ryan. I felt that it was a reasonable response.
Yeah.
Felt that it was a reasonable response.
She did not. It was not fun. It was not fun. It was 30 minutes of diciness, okay? Go touch grass. What would let me ask you something.
Oh.
What would happen if you told Mama Wine back in the day to go touch grass?
Oh man. I don't know. My little brothers, they push the envelope now with touching the grass. So I get to see it firsthand. She lost her fastball for sure.
Soap in the mouth?
I was too afraid. I was too afraid to say something like that. When I got a little bit older, I got a little bit. I would say a little mouthy, but not as much now.
11.
Yeah, no. 0.25 second buffer. ChatGPT. Excuses. Morning, fellas. DMFG. Listen. The guy is full of them. You should hear this guy freaking out, sending me screenshots of where we go run this thing.
I'm just trying to get dialed
across my face with the grass. Make him eat some grass. There you go, Jeremy. There you go. Good stuff. That's how you open up the show there. All right. We got some things figured out. All right. So the big thing that happened yesterday was so college football, the NCAA they need to go touch some grass. I think that's reasonable to say there because they just don't have a pulse on. I don't know. Like there is chaos happening across the whole college football landscape with the tampering thing, with all kinds of stuff. And I mean, the schedule is a complete disarray. That was a massive complaint. And what I mean by that, the schedule or the seasons, right, where you have your recruiting, your portal season, and then football season, and if you have to have coaching turnover, like it's disastrous, right?
Yeah.
And they see all that, they watch it unfold all year long, and they go, "We got a great idea. Sit down. We're gonna make it worse." All right, and I always point to when an idea happens and it's just so out of left field that makes zero logical sense that it has to be a money thing. That's the only caveat that I could ever seem to make sense. But I don't understand where the money plays a factor here. I don't know what dragging this thing on for 190 days, it's not really that long, makes any sense. So you have your first round of the playoffs, which will be, again, these are your first rounds. I don't think it's December 30th. I think those happen a week earlier. I think it happens December 15th, right? That's your first at home. That's your at home playoff. And then you have the Christmas week bye. Then you have your quarterfinals on a Wednesday and a Friday. So this past year was Wednesday, Thursday, which was New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. But Thursday night football gets in the way. So now there's going to be a day gap in between the game. So you have the 17th and 18th or whatever that weekend is, that Friday. Then you'll have basically a week off, right? Because you'll have the Christmas week. Then you have that next round, which is your bowl games, no longer at the stadiums, on the 30th and the 1st, okay? Then you have the semifinals 14 days later. 2 weeks later, you have it the 14th and the 15th. So it's split up again. And then you have, after that, 2 weeks after that, going into the 25th, I believe is what the date will be, which was 6 days ago. That was 2 Sundays ago. I think we did a watch party last Sunday for Auburn. 2 Sundays ago was the last playoff game for the NFL. That's where the championship game will be held, the day after that.
I mean, it's going to be spring ball soon.
Think about that. The portal closed on the 14th.
Yeah. This is
or the 16th or whatever it was. So you have so football will be happening 10 days after the fact. I mean, making the championship is going to be a massive disadvantage because, mind you, when after that tournament, they have those teams have 5 days. Those players from those teams have 5 days to enter into the portal. Which after that, if they enter into the portal at that time, all the schooling's closed up. Most of those spots are going to be filled up.
Maybe that's their draft hit. You know, like the 2 Super Bowl teams, they draft last. Maybe that's the hit.
No. The teams don't get the hit. It's the players. The team Indiana still was getting cats out of the portal. They can still go in the portal. I'm talking about the players on their team.
Because there's no spots.
Yeah, last thing you want to do is like on a playoff run say, "Hey, I'm leaving."
Yeah.
Like you have no market. You have no market if your team makes it that far.
Well, did you hear that AJ McCarron take?
No.
About if the Big Ten decides not to rule with the SEC on playoff expansion and do what the SEC wants?
No.
So he said the SEC is probably just going to suck up the ACC and a couple Big 12 teams like Texas
Tech, their own thing,
and they're going to go do their own thing.
Yeah, the thing's chaos.
This is a mess, dude. We need a commissioner tomorrow.
Well, if that's the case, that just shows you that the NCAA has the control of certain things, which that's why they're still putting their hand in the pot, but don't have because again, the SEC and the Big Ten are the ones that are controlling the format. So they're the ones that are getting together and controlling the format. The NCAA is getting together and controlling the schedule. It appears, but nobody's getting together to fix the problem at hand, which is the scheduling part of it, which is the, how the playoffs are laid out anyways, whether it's going to be 12, 16, 45, 92. It's wild to think that at one point we thought that the SEC and the Big Ten would get together, but then you have 2 egotistical twat muffins trying to work together. So the SEC goes, well, I'll just flex my muscles and go buy my own. And the Big Ten already has 20 guys, 18 teams in their conference, so they just need 7 more. Like they don't need too many more, and neither does the SEC. The SEC can go get 4 and 4 from each one and be done with it.
Yeah, so is there 2 national championships, or is it AFC versus NFC? Big Ten versus SEC, and that's it.
If you have the AFC versus the NFC, then that would cause them to still have to come together and decide on
one day though.
Yeah, huh?
Only one day though.
Well, you can't have the AFC functioning with different rules on how they schedule. Because with 9 conferences, if they have to have 9 conference games, if they, when the scheduling is, when they play, if the Big Ten allows 12 teams to get in.
When did we give the power to the Big Ten and the SEC?
Because there's no true power in the NCAA, so these 2 big powerhouses that control all the money and all the viewership were able to. They settled it 2 years ago. I thought that's where the rev share thing came into play, which gave the control back to the NCAA. But clearly, when they made that deal, the SEC and Big Ten kept a few things in their pocket, and that's where we're at.
We got to figure it out. We need a governing body tomorrow, today, yesterday, last week. I don't know who you got to call. Call a bunch of coaches, old coaches. Nick Saban can lead the band. Gonzalez from Wisconsin. He was an AD for a while. Call him. There's a couple of them. Go get them. Go fix this shit because it's not even looking like the same. It's not going to be the same product. I mean, we're changing at a rapid pace to where we're going to look over and it's going to be soccer next year. No, we're not going to catch the ball anymore. What are we doing? It's going to turn to rugby overnight.
I mean, rugby's a great sport.
I get it, but golly, dude,
so I was the tweets that are happening are I mean, everybody is in complete rage. It's good. I mean, you're gonna lose. I mean, it lost a little bit of luster, in my opinion, this year because of how far apart it was. It was like, oh, the game's on tonight. You know what I mean? Like it didn't have this build up in the Super Bowl. It obviously playoffs slow down. I would say in a lot of sports because you go from just constant overload of playing every weekend, and then it gets dwindle down to where it's smaller and smaller. The Super Bowl is a national holiday, right? So that never will have any issues of taking in eyeballs. One, because it's on a Sunday, not a Monday at 9:00 in the afternoon, which has never made any sense to me. But mainly because of just, again, marketing. But their entire playoffs take 30 days. From start of playoffs to the end. This new schedule will be 40 days for college football. 40 days.
Is this set in stone too?
Well, that's what Taylor Lewan said. Is this set in stone, or we complain about it enough to make it happen? Can we get loud enough?
Here's the thing. There's enough guys that love this sport that could get it fixed. You could pull together and would do it, and probably would do it for almost free, like not very much money. That love the pageantry and the passion of the sport, and still understand, like, yes, there's a business to run, but somebody's got to. There's got to be a governing body. The NCAA's dead. It's dead. They have no power, and you need to format a league, and it needs to have guardrails and guidelines, and these are the rules. There's not going to be transferring in and out. Once you sign a rev share NIL deal, there's not going to be, none of the shenanigans. I like the rule of the SEC put in play where you couldn't transfer to a SEC during spring ball. If you did, you had to sit out. Like, it felt like for a second that we had this thing figured out, and then we just wadded up and threw it in the trash. Now it's the wild, wild west again. Like,
well, also they got rid of the spring thing, so like that one good rule was eradicated because it didn't matter anyways. So
yeah.
The other thing that's crazy to think about is today is National Signing Day. I mean, once known as a Super Bowl-esque type of day, has lost its. Look, to me, National Signing Day is in December. We've already experienced it. We've already celebrated it in my eyes. But this is technically National Signing Day. Again, this is another thing they need to get rid of. They need to change. I said it to move it to the beginning before the season starts. Move it to August or June and I understand there's certain caveats to that play a factor because you have a senior season that could affect some things. So I don't know. I don't know the answers to that, but they need to get to one signing day. Like, these are things that college football has that are great for the sport that people love. And if you don't know when it is or when to tune in for it, then it's going to lose its luster. Like the Pro Bowl last night. I completely forgot about it. The only reason I know that it happened was because Twitter was showing me clips. But nobody cared. And everyone's talking now is like, this thing's dead. Like, nobody, like, your three AFC quarterbacks were Joe Burrow, or NFC. Was it NFC? Was it NFC? I don't know. Were Joe Burrow, Joe Flacco, and Shedeur Sanders. Like, this is not the sport that I love. You know what I mean? Like, This is not the Pro Bowl. I saw an interview, I think it was with Steve Young, and he goes, they asked him, when did it die? And he goes, when I was going out there and getting absolutely just whacked because everybody's partying and drinking, except like your kind of your OG, like your JJ Watts, who weren't drinking, who'd come out fresh as could be. Nobody knows the plays, and they're just blowing off the edge, leveling my ass. It's like, what am I doing? This isn't worth it. For me, the skills games I always enjoy. I feel like you could find a way to incorporate that. The flag football is just a mockery of the sport.
I don't like any of it. I just wad it up, throw that shit in the trash. It could just be an award that you hand out. I think you know what's more exciting? The NFL top 100 players that they roll out with the little highlight clips of the year. That's more exciting than the Pro Bowl. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Did you do this?
Yes.
Okay. Golly, bro. Are we being like, what is happening here?
Somebody asked for the link for the show.
Yeah, I see. I figured. I just didn't see it. Thank you. All right.
I don't think it's not even NIL that's killing college football Gator swag. It's literally the adults in the room.
Yeah, I don't think, because NIL has nothing, I mean, I can't say nothing to do with it. You could argue, well, the NIL is playing a factor where
no, it's just
the money is driving the decision, but that the money's always drove the decision from this is big brand money. This is bigger picture money. The NIL has nothing to do, in my opinion, with how the scheduling is such a debacle. The NIL doesn't affect the National Signing Day because the early enrollment is what affects the National Signing Day, which that's just teams trying to get an advantage. Like, if you're not early enrolling, what are we doing here? I mean, even Malik Morris is there now, and he was supposed to get there in June. He figured it out and got there. Like if you're not enrolling in January, you're basically part of the 2020, the next year's class. So at this point you have to enroll. It's like that is an NIL thing. That is just like, hey, if you're going to play on this football team, we want you for the spring training. It'd be a complete waste for you to come in during the summer.
Yeah, we gotta have a commissioner. That's just what it needs to be. Whoever you want, Nick Saban, Josh Pate, I don't give a shit. Somebody.
Yeah. Rest in peace, college football. So this is we've talked about this before. We scream and yell right about this, and you and I have talked about this. It's not that sport's not dying yet though, because the product the factor is the product that still rolls out onto the field is still watchable. It's still fun. It may annoy us when it happens and how it unfolds, but the product that you are consuming is still electric. And even when we thought that, the SEC championship and those conference championships would lose swagger, I know a lot of people were saying, well, the during the season games are meaningless. I felt that this year's in-season games were more meaningful than ever. Like you got playoff-esque atmosphere because you knew that any given week that you could lose a chance to go to the playoffs. Now, I mean, there were some, and then the last week of the year, you had 5 games in the SEC determining who was going to be in the SEC championship and also possibly losing a spot in the playoffs. I mean, Bama was fighting for their life. So that to me, I disagree. I felt that it honestly caused more excitement. There are certain aspects of college football that we once loved and enjoyed, like the bowl season, that has died. Yes.
Yep.
That I agree with. Was that carrying college football from year to year? No. That was a special
bonus
treat
game
that week. Yeah, that was a
special
treat that we got. And we enjoyed a little ice cream with a little bit of cherry. Now it's frozen. Now it's vanilla Greek yogurt with some granola in it. It's not horrible. We'll take it every now and then, but eventually, we still like our ice cream. So I don't think that it's dying at that point.
Yeah, but I feel like we are. I feel like the analogy I would say is we're in a sports car and I think we have people behind the wheel that don't know how to drive it. Like I think you have an average Joe driving a NASCAR or a F1 car, and they're just holding on to the wheel, just gritting their teeth, bearing for dear life as this thing just unfolds right in front of them, turn after turn after turn after turn. They're just holding on.
No doubt. Well, listen, I don't want to keep our guest waiting. He just hopped in here. It looks like he's live from the swamp. Great background. Mr. Corey Bender joins the show here on this beautiful morning. This is a new one for us, Corey, having here. Good morning, man.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. Love the background. Looks fantastic.
Yeah, right.
Happy to have you here. We appreciate you hopping on here early in the morning. Good to see you. How's the new baby?
Doing well, man. Doing well. We're about 3 months in. So that my youngest is 3 months. My oldest is 5 years. So it's been chaotic. So I appreciate you working with me. The nighttime can be a little busy for us over here. So I appreciate it.
Trust me. Fully aware of it, man.
I know, you're in the same boat. You're basically in the same boat as me.
Yeah. Yeah, we got 3-year-old, but that chaos still ensues, no doubt. Night times are a wild one. That the 3-year-old can be a little finicky. So getting into that rhythm is definitely needed. Definitely. Yeah. Scheduling. We were just talking about the scheduling for the college football playoffs, how the NCAA, I would not want the NCAA scheduling our schedule here in the household because it would be chaotic. They'd have that thing all over the place. But
no, absolutely. I was gonna say you have it more crazy than me though. 3 years old versus 5. I mean, mine's like kind of getting out of that stage where he's kind of slowly turning the corner. Where 3 is kind of like, I mean, they say terrible 2s, but it really can kind of transfer into the 3s as well.
Yeah, you got probably a little more of a functioning adult, I would say. You could argue.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we still have our days though.
Yeah, until they tell their mom to go touch grass.
Yeah, we've been going through that. The other day, my kid told me to shut up, and I was like, "Wow, like here we go." Yeah, I was blown away by it. Yeah, it was funny.
Wow. Well, we were handing out punishment for his kid. We could put you for the touch grass. Yeah, the touch grass, I feel like is almost worse because it's him trying to be. Obviously, he knows he's trying to be rude, but like say it in a sarcastic, smart way. Your kid just, more so just crashing out. I kind of respect the shut up more than the touch.
He said it, and then right after he said it, he's like, "Don't say that." Like he corrected himself. It was funny. He's like, "Shut up." He's like, "Oh."
He's like, "That was supposed to be inner monologue."
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, dude.
My son does that too. He loves the song "Shut Up and Dance with Me," so go "Shut Up."
Yeah,
and wait around. I'm like, "It dance with me," because he knows like he can say it for the song, but he can't say it. I love it. I love it. Well, Corey, man,
I you guys having me out of work with me for sure. Like as far as my schedule, so I appreciate it.
We appreciate you, man, hopping on here. We're excited to pick your brain and hear what's going on this recruiting world. I know we got a lot going on. The boys are out here hustling and working their tails off, especially Troutwine is doing the thing. What are some great things we're hearing so far with just across the recruiting landscape?
Yeah, no, we'll stick with Troutwine, man. To start it off, I think right now, I mean, you look at guys like 5-star offensive lineman Maxwell Hiller. He's a number 1 ranked interior offensive lineman. He was a guy that was offered by the previous staff and even told me at the time, he's like, "Hey, I like Florida, but it's a little bit too late. You know, they're not in my top 10. And, you know, thank you, but no thank you." And it's funny. Then Troutwine comes on board. And, you know, I mean, within a matter of weeks, Florida gets a visit. And I was saying this to people the other day. I mean, January is such a crucial time for these kids. You got to squeeze in all these visits. And with the NIL era, these January visits lead to who gets visits in the spring, who gets OVs. So many schools are fighting to get you on campus during that time. So for Florida to get a multi-day visit in just a matter of a few weeks really speaks volumes to what Phil Troutwine is doing on the recruiting trail. I mean, another guy, Leighton Von Brandt, a former Penn State commit, is another guy where he told me, he's like, "I've always liked Florida, but like, you know, I just knew I probably wasn't going to go there." He's a kid up in the Northeast. I think it's Delaware. Was committed to Penn State. And, you know, once Phil Troutwine got to Florida, he's like, "Hey, I'll give him a shot." Had 2 in-home visits with Phil, and now Florida's supposed to get him on campus for the first time this March and probably get an OV as well. So literally just a complete 360 compared to where the previous staff was. And most of that's really obviously the Phil Troutwine connections. I mean, Peyton Miller is another one down in Texas, a 4-star offensive lineman who, again, was offered by Penn State. And, you know, it only took a matter of weeks before Florida kind of made his way into Florida, made their way into his top group. So I think right now, with Florida, I mean, offensive line recruiting, I always tell people it's going to take a few months for these commits to come in because, 1, a lot of these kids haven't visited Florida before. And 2, when it comes to major schools like Florida, the Ohio States, Texas, I mean, NIL is really discussed on the OV. So a lot of these kids really start ramping up those conversations while they take those OVs. So right now the groundwork is getting put in. Florida's in line to get OVs from a lot of these kids, but you just got to be a little bit patient because a lot of these kids will want to take multiple visits to Florida before making a commitment. So I think overall, Florida, especially with offensive line recruiting, they're definitely trending up in a major direction. You can probably say the same thing. I think tight end too, man. I know the portal, Florida signed several tight ends, but I think Evan McKissick, the new tight ends coach, I mean, George Lamons, I mean, he's a kid that had 1,400 yards receiving as a tight end as a sophomore, about 600 last year. Former Texas A&M commit, a major talent, and already has Florida on top. I think Jackson Bollinger out of Ohio, I think Florida's trending for him as well. He's another big-time talent. So I think right now, like I said, the groundwork getting made, and I think overall when it comes to spring and summer, Florida's shaping up to have a nice little run.
Yeah, I love hearing that about how, again, I think a lot of people don't understand kind of how this recruiting works. I understood the importance of how quickly they were able to turn it on its head. Like the energy felt like this staff had been here for the last 2 years on top of the talent they were getting on campus this early on. And we were just talking about obviously the chaotic part of the college football and how the scheduling has been. I would argue though that the recruiting has found a little bit of a nice rhythm over the last 2 years where you have January, where you have these early visits, then there's the quiet period. Then you have May, June, where your OVs happen, right? There's like a 3-week period. And that is your new top 5. Like guys, when they go make those OVs, they're not making 1,000 OVs like you would think they would. They're actually pretty precise on where they're going. And they're about 4 or 5 schools, which is typically their top 5. Maybe a school will squeeze in late. And then they'll make a decision about July. And I think a lot of that has to do with the new NIL rule allowing those guys to sign contracts earlier on too. And then they stick. There's always a few that flip, but there seems to be some rhythm happening with that. And to hear about Max Hiller is massive, given the fact that he wasn't going to be about it. And they've taken this recruiting and the approach to it very seriously. And we were talking with Keith Niebuhr about it the other day of how you're seeing them everywhere, whether they're doing more than the last staff or not. The perception is that Summerall hasn't left the private jet. I don't think that the thing is landed. outside to come and deliver pizzas, and then he got back in it and flew out again.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, I think even like you said during the contact period from Florida, obviously, I mean, I think South Florida, this staff has done a great job with Demarcus Davis. I mean, having him on staff, getting in the mix for like Anthony Jennings down at Fort Lauderdale Dillard. I mean, Brandon Harris, the cornerbacks coach. I think they're kind of reestablishing their footing down in Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade. I think that's obviously been seen as well. I mean, Amari Stevens, I mean, he comes to mind. He's a 4-star Miami wide receiver commit who he got reoffered by Summerall Marcus Davis. They met with him at school, and then 2 days later he was on campus, and now Florida's definitely going to get an OV from him, and he's one of the top playmakers down in Broward. So I think overall, and you kind of made a good point too, the last couple of years recruiting really hasn't been bad. It's just the on-field results would stall that, and the momentum would go the other way. I think keeping key people on the staff, like I think Katie Turner, I mean Joe Hamilton, people like that who I thought did a great job under the previous staff, you kind of mix them in, some familiar faces with the new vision. And I know with a lot of these kids, they always rave about Summerall's energy and how much he wants it. They can tell by talking to him, there's no fluff. They can really tell this dude's eager to kind of hit the ground running and really wants to win. And that's been the one thing echoed to me from so many kids is like, hey, I like the previous staff. They're good people, but man, this is a different assertiveness under this new staff. And I thought when you saw it the lead junior day, I mean, there were so many top names that Florida gained ground with. And I would say anyone could be an offseason all-star. I mean, that's easy when it's a new staff, but I really believe if Florida can kind of have a good spring and really kind of get off to a decent start in the fall, I really think they can catch fire in recruiting. And I mean, there's so many guys right now I can go through where they were probably in the mix under the previous staff, but are now probably in the top 3 range under John Summerall.
Wow. And a lot of that, I think, again, energy is a huge factor to that. And you wrote a handful of articles about that as well, and on 3 about the energy isn't fake. There's a real sense of it to it. But also there seems to be, which is important, the GM part of it, that conversation, that NIL aspect, they're not shy about it. They're not, and it felt like the last staff didn't want to really bring it in, but we've heard, I've read on certain articles where it's like, yeah, the coach reached out plus the GM. Like, they are aware that this is also going to be a money conversation and that we want to get this part of the conversation involved as soon as possible. And it almost felt like when we would have guys come for official visits in June, Felix Ocho was somebody you and I spoke about last year. When Florida landed that official visit, we're like, well, this is huge. The guy showed up and left, and we never heard about it again. It was almost as if he walked into the GM room and he laughed in their face of like, what am I doing here? Like, you wasted my time. You should have known what I wanted. And it was like they did a good job, everyone else, of getting him there. But the other half, which is just as important, the NIL, was like non-existent. I'm assuming here, but that's just kind of how it felt. It was like that wasn't even serious. This right now feels like that could play a huge factor because that already seems to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, a good example, too, like Isaiah Williams. He's the number 1 linebacker in the country last year, former Florida commit, ended up signing with FSU. I know his agent pretty well, and I would always talk to him quite a bit. We're good friends, and I would bring up the NIL stuff with Florida, and he was committed there. And he's like, no, we've had no conversations with Florida about NIL. This is before his OV. And I thought that was interesting. While other schools were already kind of ramping up those talks where he's like, Corey, like, I'm not lying to you, dude. Like, we have not talked about NIL. We're supposed to on the OV. And obviously on the OV, I mean, you're going to talk about that even more. It's more in depth. That's where you really do the X's and O's about it. But I can tell with this staff, like you said, with the GMs and kind of the front office roles they have up there in Gainesville right now, those talks have already started with kids. I mean, we talked to Mark Matthews, the number 1 offensive tackle in the country, down at St. Thomas Aquinas. We talked to him at the Under Armour All-American Media Day, and he was saying almost all of his schools have already kind of like, obviously his mom, his agent are handling most of those conversations, but numbers have already been thrown out as far as kind of what the ballpark range is. And I know even with some of these other kids too, I mean, like early in the cycle, Florida has reached out to some saying like, hey, what's the number you guys are kind of looking at? And those talks are way in advance, months ahead of OVs under this new staff, where I thought the old staff was kind of playing catch up with that. I mean, obviously you can make up a lot of ground during OVs, especially if the kid really has sincere interest in Florida, and you can have that conversation over 3 days. But now I feel like there's more assertiveness when it comes to that department, and you have to in today's college football. I mean, you have to kind of get out to a jump start. And I just thought last year, man, especially they finished off the 2024 cycle, or was it 2025 cycle, pretty well, but there was still Billy Napier on the hot seat. There was still kind of some hesitation. And I think with this new staff, I mean, like I said before, you keeping some key faces on the staff like Katie Turner, Joe Hamilton, and people like that. But now obviously with such a good coaching staff. You can just feel a different energy. I think with Phil Trautwein, I mean, offensive line recruiting. Someone was asking me the other day, like, what's the over and under on 4-star prospects in this class for like offensive line? I would keep it at like 3 or 4. I mean, I really think, Maxwell Hiller, I mean, who knows how that kind of shapes out over the next couple of months, but Florida's definitely a real player. If they can get him in the fold, he's obviously elite talent, but I think even if they don't get him, like a guy like Sean Tatum, who's a guy in-state kid, who's near the very top of the board for Florida. I think right now Florida's probably trending for him over Tennessee and Miami. And he's a dude already looks like a college football player. And I think in Florida's eyes, already looks like, he's one of the very best like on their board. So I think overall offensive line recruiting, they're going to finish off really well. Linebacker, I think, in my opinion, is another really important position this cycle because you see like Miles Graham, Aaron Child, Jaden Robinson, those guys are all potentially gone after next season. So, you only signed one linebacker last cycle. And I think right now, if you're looking at recruiting, Florida's really kind of already establishing good footing with a lot of their top targets there too. So the assertiveness is the one word that keeps coming to mind when I think of this new staff.
So size-wise of the class, Corey, do you think it's kind of what Florida has done in the past with high school recruits, or could we see a shift where it's maybe a tick more transfer portal heavy and maybe not sign as many high school kids and maybe just get the most quality high school kids we can get instead of maybe some developmental 3-star guys?
Yeah, 18 guys, 30 guys.
Yeah, I think the developmental 3-star stage is almost, I'm not going to say completely gone, but unless it's like an offensive tackle who's like a dude that's like 6'8", 285, and you're like, damn, in like a few years, this guy can be a real thing. I just don't see many of these major programs going that route as much anymore just because you can get more proven guys in the portal. I think as far as numbers, like 4 or 5 years ago, you could almost have a gauge on what the numbers were going to be before the portal area. And we would always say, like, around this time, I think, like, hey, 23, 24, it's like the sweet number right now. But I think right now, after spring football, you have attrition. It's kind of too hard to tell right now. I always say 20 right now in the portal area, maybe a little bit more as far as high school recruiting. But I think with the staff being so new in Gainesville and them kind of, so a lot of the guys on the roster aren't the guys they brought in. I still think they're going to go heavy in the portal even next year. We already knew this past cycle Florida was going to go heavy in the portal. There was no way around that. But I still think even going into the next offseason, I think it's going to be the same thing. Not as much, but I think a lot of these schools, man, you're going to be feeling – we came out with the article of Rivals. There are some schools that signed over 50 dudes in the portal. I don't think Florida's going to be probably up at that number, but I still think they're going to probably be north of 20 for next offseason too. So I think high school recruiting, I think probably 20 is the number I'm looking at right now. It's so fluid at this time of year because some guys could still leave, transfer. As far as there's going to be some guys in spring that emerge, some guys that don't really live up to what the staff is envisioning out of them. So obviously, hey, now we're going to have to recruit this position even more. But I would say right now with high school recruiting at this time of year, I think around 20 to 22, I think that's the number that's probably most realistic right now. I don't think it's going to be an overly big high school class. You used to see like 30 dudes in a class like 5 years ago. I just don't see that as much anymore. It's even like with quarterback recruiting. I'm not really even a high on like taking 2 high school quarterbacks in one class anymore. Try to get your guy in the class. Maybe if you want a developmental guy, I think Will Griffin was different. 1, he's a stud. But I think 2, if you have a guy that really wants to be a Gator and you don't have to break the bank for it, cool, you bring him in. But I think now with what you're paying guys and how you can just kind of have that solved in the portal, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I don't feel like getting 2 high school quarterbacks in one class is probably the way to go anymore.
No, yeah, I said I don't want to. Yeah, I don't even want a 5-star guy. There's no point of even putting that recruiting budget into that guy because he's not. If he's starting, you're in a bad position if you're having to rely 100%. On a 5-star quarterback. And you go get a guy like Will Griffin. That's a perfect scenario where he loves to be a Gator. He's also a stud, so you kind of probably get a little hometown discount. And he's somebody that's understanding, like, hey, I'm not playing year 1. Like, they don't have the expectations to play year 1 because he's a 4-star. If he earns it, like, that's the whole other conversation. But these 5-star guys, if you're a number 1 recruit, they're anticipating on going in and playing right away. And that's why we talked about it. You saw 3 of the top quarterbacks. 1 went to Houston, the other one went to Vanderbilt, and I don't know where the second one went, but those aren't schools that typically land 5-star quarterbacks. Well, why'd they land them? Because they're going to play right away. And so those schools will develop them for a year or 2, and they'll end up leaving. The chances they stay are also going to be very slim. So it becomes where it's almost like secondary recruiting. I'll recruit you later on, right? And so that's where it's at. You spoke about it earlier, again, how the money conversations have changed, where the previous staff would almost kind of wait to get them on campus to start talking money. And that approach feels like, hey, if they really want to be a Gator, then we'll talk money. So we want to get him here. And we would always have like great visits this time, but the official visits, you had some top heavy hitters, but then it kind of fell off, right? I'm excited to see how this staff does. Because again, if you get them in on the official visit, if you got a pot full of guys and you're fishing out of a pond full of bigger fish, you're likely to land bigger fish. And so you have to, this is free agency. And the fact that you said Isaiah Williams, they didn't have any conversations about money. It's like, look, you can always get in the conversation with money, but why even risk somebody coming in and swooping in because you're unwilling to have it until a certain point? It's not like you're breaking any rules. People are already having it. Again, and it's free agency. That isn't going to be a factor that kids are making. And if you refuse to adapt and believe in that, you're not going to have any success. And look, this staff has to be. They had to be given the fact that they were behind the 8 ball. Nobody knew, who they are, what they can do. So they have to be firing on all cylinders. They can't just go off of like, hey, we're really excited to be here. We're super energetic. Like, no, we're energetic. We're hungry. Here's our vision. And we're also understand that this is the NIL era. We're going to give you some cheddar to go get after it too. So I think Gator fans are going to love hearing that approach. Again, you still got to execute. Like you said, offseason heroes are easy to accomplish, and talking the talk is good. But I think the biggest thing that I've liked is that, and we've done it here, and this isn't to throw shade at anybody previous to this, but to hear recruits go, yeah, this is a completely different staff than the last one. Like it's very refreshing. I love hearing that.
Well, another good example too, in my opinion, too, is like Texas Tech right now for the 2027 class already has multiple 5-star commitments. And a lot of these dudes were committing during the last cycle when that cycle was in the spotlight. So that shows you they were talking big numbers with these kids well before this. I mean, as juniors, well before their class was the main class in the spotlight. And look right now, I mean, now with the 2027 class being the main class, Texas Tech is like right up there. And it's like, before you know it, you're obviously being talked about as a main class. And Texas Tech is one of the better classes right now. So I feel you can't really wait around in this era at all. I mean, especially with like schools like Miami, who obviously is known for NIL too. You just have to kind of jump. I mean, it's almost how with Napier's vision when it came to Napier's staff with the portal. I mean, if you kind of remember, they would be late to the party for a lot of kids and offering pretty late. And it'd just be you probably catch up with a lot of these major kids. And some of the kids were from the state of Florida, and they still got on campus because it was the Florida Gators and they could play it close to home in the SEC. But a lot of these national kids that have no ties to the state, I mean, you can't be the number 9 or number 10 school to offer them behind schools like Miami, Texas Tech, USC, and schools like that. And you're even seeing it right now when it comes to assertiveness to OVs. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I haven't seen any Florida staff, I mean, many staffs at all across the country set OVs this early. End of January going into February. We're used to seeing OVs getting set in April and May. And yeah, these dates could change, but I think overall with a lot of these kids have told me, it's like, man, like they're the only school line to set OVs. That really means a lot to me. It's showing like, hey, I'm already a top priority for them. It's like other schools aren't bringing that up, but I think that holds weight with other kids in their camp saying like, hey, they already want to get an OV date set with me. So I know I'm a priority for Florida. I don't have to get to Florida and have those talks and like, hey, how much do they want me? They're already knowing they're very much wanted months ahead in advance. NIL talks are already underway. So I think right now the blueprint they have is working, and now they just have to get more commits. And obviously that's going to happen in the spring and summer.
So we had Wiggins committed, and people forget we had Wiggins committed and Will Griffin committed at this time last year, but that was it. The bulk of the class was put together through those official visits. So we already have one. We have Maury Nugent that committed, so that's kind of your Wiggins-esque commit. And again, we were kind of just speaking to how recruiting has evolved, where before you needed a quarterback, like that was a key component to a class. Like you built around that star quarterback. I feel like now you build around your star tackle and a star edge. That's going to be where the class is built on, because the whole idea and concept of like, oh, we're going to go play with this quarterback, the hell you are. No, you ain't. You're going to more than likely you'll be playing with a portal quarterback if we're being 100%. Completely frank.
Yeah.
So you're not committing based on that. You're committing off of, look, I think coaching development is going to be massive now. I mean, it's always been important. Let's not get it twisted, but I feel like there's going to be almost a flip of emphasis put on that of like, hey, I want to make sure everyone's going to give me money. Will this school give me a little bit more here and there? Yeah, sure. But ultimately it's going to come down to where can I be developed? Who's going to constantly put me into a position of success? And it doesn't matter who the quarterback is because the system is going to make me look like an absolute rock star. And that's what's going to be important for me.
No, 100%, man. And like you said, I mean, people wait the quarterback will be the first domino, like you said. And I think now, too, you have to keep in mind with Summerall staff, a lot of these kids want to see how the staff is in spring football. Because I had a few people ask me, like, oh, my God, one commitment. There's all this buzz. Everyone's pumping them up. But a lot of these kids, I mean, other than maybe Phil Trautwein when they visited Penn State, a lot of these kids haven't seen this coaching staff operate up close. So that's why I think spring football, in my opinion, you could see a lot of guys come off the board and really start picking Florida. I know I've talked to a lot of kids who are like, hey, like once I get there in the spring, I think that's when I'll really know where I'm at with recruiting. And I think with this staff too, like you said, man, like I feel like with quarterback, it used to be, hey, the quarterback comes in, he's the leader, he recruits. I know Will Griffin's kind of an exception because he's a lifelong Gator. He is kind of like that captain type where he does kind of reel the other guys in. But when it comes to national guys coming in, like a Davin Davidson, right, one of the Florida's top quarterback targets, I mean, you can get him on board, right? He commits to Florida, but I don't think it's like previous years where, oh, the quarterback comes in, now let's all follow him. I think a lot of it's really individual based, man. I'm not saying leadership isn't important when it comes to commits and all the kids join the class, but everyone has their individual situation. And when it comes to NIL, where, when they can play, it's not like how it was 5 years ago where it's like, yeah, let me go play at that quarterback, or, oh my God, we got 3 dudes that are committed and let me be the 4th. It's just a whole different era, man, with the money era. And I just feel like a lot of these kids are kind of basing they're kind of focusing on their own situation. Yeah, they might be excited to see 5 dudes join the class and like, hey, let me join. This is special, but it's so individual based now. And that's why I feel like with spring football coming and I think, like I said, credit to Florida, those NIL talks, the more important talks, already well underway. OVs are being set, and I think that's the blueprint you have to go with.
With the quarterback of this class, I know you just said Davis, and then I know they've been circling the wagon on a young reclassified kid,
Champmon.
young guy, Champmon. Is that gonna be they're gonna take 2, or they're gonna take 1? And is Champmon, I mean, he's young. Is this like an Austin Simmons type deal?
Yeah, so Champmon out of Vero Beach, man, he was like almost close to being a 5-star in the 28 class, reclassified, like you said, the 2027 class. Now he's kind of like a mid 4-star. I like both of them. I think Florida, they could possibly take 2, but like I don't see both those guys being one of them being the 2 and the number 2 in the class. I don't see them both ending up at the same school. I think with Florida, obviously they're gonna kind of evaluate stuff, especially when it comes to spring football, and kind of feel out where Trammell is, Aaron Philo, and kind of see obviously what Will Griffin's doing, and then maybe they potentially take a second quarterback, or maybe they obviously hit the portal again next offseason for another quarterback. I think right now, one quarterback's more likely, and I think Davin Davidson, to me, a state champion kid, almost 6'7", and the dude's legit, probably 6'6" without cleats, 6'7" with cleats. I think he's the guy that's more realistic. Champmons, I'm a big fan of, but I think Davin Davidson has a higher ceiling, and I think Florida probably has a better shot with Davin Davidson. He might be the hottest quarterback in the country right now as far as recruiting. I mean, every time you look on his Twitter account, man, he's grabbing new SEC offers. So I know Florida, I mean, they made a big move with him. Summerall's already been down to his school. He's the one guy I'm focusing on the most, where I think Champmons, I mean, he's dealing with Florida State, Tennessee, Georgia. He's more calculated right now as far as kind of sitting back and, taking visits and feeling everything out. I think Florida is definitely near the very top for him, but I still think it's going to be difficult to maybe get him in the class. I mean, never say never, but I think Florida has a better shot with Davin Davidson. But yeah, to answer your question too about the 2 quarterbacks, I think just one of those guys is likely, and then maybe they do a feeler later in the year. This other guy, I mean, we're only in February. There's going to be guys in spring football that emerge that they say, hey, man, let's offer them. But I think overall, I think grabbing 1 quarterback in high school is likely, and then addressing it through the spring. And then, I mean, if they go into the season needing another one, maybe they hit the portal again. I think because with this staff, they're going to need to turn the corner quick. And I think it depends with Aaron Philo and Trammell Jones. Like, how do those dudes look in the spring? And like, do we really need to get another quarterback after next season? So it's kind of a wait and see, but I think 1 high school quarterback's likely.
Well, and the reason I asked that is because you have 3 very young quarterbacks. If you do take Mon and he reclassifies, you're getting him to where he would be the predecessor probably after Will, and he'd still be young, and you're gonna he knows he's gonna redshirt and this and that, and so with the age thing, I just don't know how long like Davis is willing to sit around. I mean, Mon knows he's young. How long is that guy going to be willing to sit around? I think Will Griffin's is like Brett Favre-esque, like just arm mechanics, just how he throws the ball, how he kind of moves the pocket. He'll take a shot during that Under Armour game. The quarterback, I think he went to Alabama, rolled his ankle, and Griffin was getting just blasted last year in the Under Armour game, and just kept throwing balls down the field.
Oh, Keelan Russell.
Yeah,
he played it before him. It is going to be. You kind of make a point too, Corey, that I'm excited about now too. Is that spring game is a selling opportunity, where the spring game is kind of always usually a run through, and even last year, I mean, it was people were fighting tooth and nail to keep it together for some schools. Where I wonder if some are all in the staff are going to understand, like, this is our chance to kick ass and take names. Like, we're going to go put up 90 points. I want to show every wide receiver, tackle, how we're gonna move and utilize these guys, and then we're gonna be pissed because our defense is stopping a nosebleed. But then also take advantage of showing the linebacker play and how they're filling gaps. We had a great conversation on Monday with Stephen Harris where he broke down how this defense, how he believes the vision of it's going to be, where we may not need as big as a nose tackle because they're going to spread it out a little more and have your linebackers filling in the gaps. Like, these are opportunities where, and we've always heard about Napier and the guys of like, hey, well, let us show you in the spring game. But because of how, like I just said, the recruiting schedule has adjusted a bit, where most of these guys are going to be locked in by the time the season starts. You're not selling 2027 on your play. You can lose it on your 2027 play, but you sure as hell aren't going to necessarily be selling it. You want to have them committed by there and see what you sold them coming to life in 2027, so it almost reconfirms. Could you use that to flip some guys if it goes well? For sure. You don't want to go into that season with being behind the 8 ball. But Corey Bender, this was great, man. A lot of great information as always. Love having you on. Tell them where they can keep up. I said on 3 earlier, I guess I forgot you guys are now rivals now, right?
Yes, on 3. So Rivals is the recruiting side. On 3 is like the NIL college football. But no, we're basically one. But yeah, man, Gears Online, simple as that, man. I mean, you see my Twitter down there, Corey_Bender, and yeah, man, follow along. I mean, we're putting out, I know between Blake and I, we're putting out so much recruiting content every day. I know Keith and Zach are keeping up with the team, basketball, baseball starting. So, no, lock in, man. I mean, we have so much content coming up. I mean, we have a lot of scoop over there every day as far as recruiting visits. I mean, we're John Summerall and the staff. I mean, now it's a dead period, but we're on the road in January. So, I mean, lock in, man. I mean, we definitely have a lot of stuff. I think if you're definitely not a member, you're missing out. But, yeah, man, constant stuff. Probably 10 articles a day right now. We're keeping busy.
Well, I love one last question. National Signing Day. We going to get one today, or maybe a defensive tackle?
Funny. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, over the weekend, there was reports of a defensive lineman, Dylan Behrman, visiting. And he obviously didn't make it because Ford decided to go in another direction. He was kind of one of the lone guys that we are monitoring kind of leading up to that. I mean, there was rumors of him visiting like in early January. Talking about him, maybe Florida taking a chance on him, but no, it should be fairly quiet. I think Florida's happy with where they're at. I mean, they addressed everything they want to in the portal. Yeah, with high school recruiting, yeah, it should be a fairly quiet day. We had most of our run in December. That was fun. And then portal obviously was chaotic as usual. So I think right now, unless something comes out of left field, it should be a very quiet day. So I think it's a day for Florida fans. They don't have to be dialed in too much.
Wild to see how far National Signing Day has come. Corey, appreciate you, man. Thank you for hopping on in the morning, and you with the kiddos, man. Be good.
Appreciate you, brother. Have a good day, guys.
You too, man. Thank you.
Yep.
Corey Bender, ladies and gentlemen, from Rivals there /On3, joining us. Great stuff. Great conversations. As he was talking about David Davidson from Sarasota, Florida. So he's a 3-star quarterback right now, but he's a 6'6.5", 215. Like, the kid's got the size already. Yeah.
Like so Brock Osweiler tall.
When I saw this, I'm like, man, this is kind of be like those 3-star quarterbacks are going to start to get a lot of love, because instead of having that 3-star kid go to like a JUCO or a smaller end school and you picking them up in 2 years anyways, hey, just come ride. You're gonna either go over here for 2 years. Yeah, we'll pay you more than they will. Sure, you'll get to play, but your ultimate goal is to end up here. Just let us work you for 2 years, and then you'll be ready to go. So now, like, the pitch has changed drastically, and I kind of like it. I kind of like, let's go get the size and all the things we can't teach now. And that was kind of what his approach was to tackles and offensive linemen. But how fast the game is moving tackles and linemen need multiple years to play. It's not a one and done for a lineman. Like they've got to be ready to go as soon as possible. Quarterbacks can have one phenomenal year, 2 good years, and be good, and be like, oh wow, oh holy shit, here he is. Like Fernando is not the greatest example. He had a pretty good year at California, but he had 2 solid years, which turned him into a number 1 draft pick. 2 solid years. That's all he had. Outside of that, it was figuring it out, growing and learning behind the scenes. Cam Ward is another one. I mean, he had good years. It wasn't like he was, completely under the radar, but he wasn't getting looked at like that from Washington State. He just came into the exact same thing he was doing at Washington at a bigger, prominent school. I'm like, oh yeah, he can do it. Let's go get him. So Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, he had 1 year.
That one's in my opinion a one-off because of just his physical stature. Like I don't think many kids are coming out and doing what he did at the. I mean, he broke records. Like he shattered records in the combine. Like that was
he knew that though.
Yeah, he was kind of like a one-off type of situation. Yeah. Hey, 500 people on this beautiful morning show. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Smash the like button, subscribe. We'll give Corey Bender a follow. The guy is all over it. There's so much to follow from a recruiting standpoint. Again, I don't get too involved with the names this early. I used to, but again, I've learned I think I sat on my balls, and I've been hurting this whole show.
What?
Yeah, when I sat down, I pinched him underneath my leg, and I have been in shambles. And I just can't even breathe right now. Like hitting me harder.
Are we for real right now?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Dude, I am like, I've been trying to ignore it, but it just like hit me in the stomach.
They be hanging that low already?
I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. No.
Golly, like an old billy goat.
Yeah.
Things hanging to the ground. They touch grass. That's what's touching grass.
Yeah, shows in shambles. I'm hurting. Great stuff. I'm glad Corey was here to keep hang in there.
Is it in shambles, or this is the normal scheduled program here?
Yeah, this is Bush League here. Corey, I didn't see it. Sorry, Gary Jeremy. Corey, how's your 40-yard dash game? Busy April 11th.
Oh my gosh.
Good stuff there.
Somebody said you should ask Summerall if we could do the halftime.
Yeah, I'm not like everyone's like, hey, can you ask about this? Can you ask him if he can? Like, what are we doing? Like, yeah. Where we landed the biggest interview ever. It's like, hey, can you ask one of his favorite?
Like we're bros.
Flavors? Yeah. It's like, hey, can you do me a favor? You ask him this for
me. It's like all Joe Rogan's friends. That's what they talk about. They're like, you know how many people like walk up and be like, hey, like, how do I meet Joe?
Yeah.
It's like fucking not gonna happen.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Hey, will you give this to Joe? Yeah, sure. And then you turn around and throw it away. Yeah. Like, no.
Oh man. Yeah, I gotta get the phone out. I've got to get the juice out. Like, there's a lot of things I got to do. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Good show. Good stuff. A lot of great information.
Yep. Banger. Tomorrow's call-in show, right?
We'll see.
Damn. What a comment from the Swolder himself.
Oh, we both click it. Go ahead.
I was so excited. I clicked it twice. Oh, appreciate it. The kids actually said I look 10 years younger. That could be, sleeping better.
Their birthday, their birthday's coming up, but that's
their birthday's not coming up. Their birthday's not until October.
Another great morning show, GMFG. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I think it was a good one. It was sometimes they're touch and go. You know what I mean? But this was great with Corey Bender. I'm going to try to do a better job of getting. I think it's getting guests in the morning will be great too. Maybe it works better with these guys as well. So we'll work on getting some other guys to talk some basketball too in the morning. I think that'll be good to have. So that's going to be our diligence to make sure we do that moving forward. So tomorrow is supposed to be the call-in show. I've been kind of gassed, so I may take a day. I may take a personal day. We'll see. So just the bell goes off, the bell goes off. Yeah. Cody's looking at me like that. Well, Cody, when you've got to, I'm tired. I got sick. I was sick after the show yesterday. I was down. I literally like something hit me and I fell asleep for like 6 hours. So we're just thankful for we're here today. Okay. Thankful we're here today. Hey, we got NASCAR tonight, though. We got NASCAR tonight. All right?
I get it.
We're racing, boys. We're racing. Only one question important for John Whitney or Stapleton. His answer settles the debate once and for all. That is actually a really good question. It's a really good question.
I think we need to write down the questions and do pros and cons on all of them.
Peace and love, boys.
And it's truly eyebrows
running the show.
Oh, hell no.
Baby. Let's get it, let's go.